Hey everybody, it's Michael,
And Nick?
and welcome to our ninth episode of the Codex Comics podcast. It's the end of the month, so that means the previews guide. So, Nick, you want to start that? Jump right in.
Absolutely. I'm gonna jump right into DC Comics here. I'm gonna start with two new titles that are coming out. The first one is called Sideways. Basically, it's a hero that can sort of jump around dimensions using portals. The story goes that he gains his power sometime after Metal, and he can jump around and do stuff. But unfortunately, he creates these rifts, which cause more problems than it's worth. But I think that's going to be a really cool title. We'll have to see how it goes here. Um, the next one is called the Terrifics, which basically puts four heroes together. Um, it puts Mr. Terrific, Phantom Girl, Plastic Man, and Metamorpho together, which is a really weird combo for this issue. Basically, this issue is going to put them together.
Yeah, I'm excited for this new Age of Heroes imprint thing. I think it's gonna be really interesting. Get some new heroes in here. I'm excited to see how long they stick around. The Terrifics team's interesting. A lot of those are pre-existing characters coming out of Metal, and then Sideways is gonna be a brand new character. And Sideways is the one that I'm most excited for. I think they all have really interesting premises, but I think Sideways is going to definitely be the one that I'm really really looking forward to. I say it all the time, but I want new characters, and I feel like this is a really cool way to do it. Introduce them out of an event, because that gives the readers of the event kind of a cool incentive to continue reading these stories and having that event be what caused their abilities. I think it's exciting. I'm curious to see how the dark multiverse and that kind of stuff causes it to happen and what the reasoning is. But I think it's going to be really exciting. So coming up next, I'm going to let you talk about the another Dark Knights tie-in coming out, the Wild Hunt.
Okay, so the next issue of Dark Knight's Metal, The Wild Hunt, basically takes place between issues 5 and 6 of the Dark Knight's Metal. The cover is absolutely gorgeous, as you can see the riders, the knights, coming towards the heroes. Basically, this story, it's going to talk about four heroes that are tangled up in the storyline, and basically, it's going to be the heroes trying to save themselves from basically oblivion in a sense. Um, so I'm kind of curious where this is going to go. It's probably going to be something, kind of interesting in a sense. Now I'm gonna go to Doomsday Clock number 3. I know you guys have heard a lot about this, but well, I'm just gonna talk about it briefly here. Basically, the two covers. The main cover is a bottle of like rum or whiskey or something. It's getting smashed against something. And then the other cover is Batman sitting in his Batcave, reading Rorschach's journal, which is also really cool.
Yeah, I've talked about it a million times on here, and you guys have probably seen the cover in issues of the different comics throughout the weeks. They put a page of it of Batman reading Rorschach's journal. But this cover is colored, and it looks gorgeous.
Okay, so the next title I'm going to talk about is it's called Raven, Daughter of Darkness, which is kind of cool because um, in the past they've done Raven kind of 6 issue miniseries, and Raven is like one of my favorite characters in the DC universe. So hopefully this is really good. I mean, like, I don't know. I just, in my personal opinion, I didn't care for the last run because of the artwork. Hopefully, this artwork is a lot better than the previous run, but who knows? I'm gonna switch it back to Mike as he talks about Batman.
All right, so in this previews guide, Batman 38 and 39 were shown, and there's going to be some sort of tie-in, not a tie-in, but Wonder Woman's going to appear in this issue. So the first two parts of this story arc show Batman and Superman together, and these two issues show Wonder Woman and Batman. And I think that Tom King is a phenomenal writer. He's proven his worth with this current Batman run up to this point, and Mr. Miracle, and all these different things. So I'm excited to see his take on Superman and Batman's relationship, but even more importantly, a relationship that kind of gets sidelined a lot is Batman and Wonder Woman, and I think seeing King write that relationship is going to be awesome. Seeing how these two characters interact, and maybe their mistrust of one another. I think that's going to be a big topic that we're going to cover with the Trinity in this arc, is like their how they trust each other, what they don't trust about each other, and that kind of stuff. And I think it's going to be really, really good. I think the art's going to be great. The writing is going to be awesome. And I'm just excited for this to see what story King can tell. And I think it's going to be really character driven. Nick, you want to talk about that real quick?
Actually, I do have one question about that. Do you think this story is going to be more like a Trinity story where it's like all three of them at the same time, or is it going to be like Batman kind of sections himself off with one character at a time?
From the looks of it, I think he's going to be. I think the first two issues are going to be him and Superman, and the next two issues are going to be him and Wonder Woman. I'd like to see it maybe in 5 parts, where the last part is about the Trinity as a whole. I'm not quite sure about your question though, because it does look like they're going to be two separate stories in one 4-part story, which is weird. But I think it works that way because I feel like it'd be too much in 2 issue or in 4 issues to have all these characters together. I think that we can get a lot more deeper with these characters doing it this way, and I hope that maybe there's a part 5 where it is about characterization of the Trinity as a whole. But yeah, so I'm going to send it over to you, and I want to hear your thoughts on the Flash annual preview that they did with the Flash War prelude.
Oh dear. Well, let me describe the cover before I start. Anyway, the cover features Wally West, the normal Wally West in his red and silver suit, holding the black costume Wally West and Barry Allen's costume, which leads me to believe that Wally West did not die in Titans, which I'm kind of confused on because his heart gave out and stuff. So basically, the issue is Wally West. He goes after Iris, and basically, he wants to tell her that he's still alive. But Iris, at this point, doesn't know that Wally is still alive. So this is going to be quite the shock to the system. Also, in the Flash titles, we're going to see Gorilla Grodd come back from the Speed Force. I'm guessing. Um,
So first off, I'm super excited for Gorilla Grodd in a Flash story again. I love Gorilla Grodd more than I should. Gorilla Grodd needs to be the main villain constantly for every story ever, all the time. Um, but I mean, come on, how long have I been reading comics? Like we know that Wally West didn't die in Titans. I mean, especially after just bringing him back, they're not going to kill him. But I'm interested their reasoning on all the stuff. I hope it's a Doomsday Clock tie-in sort of thing. I'm hoping that's how they explain it, just because I'm on this Doomsday Clock thing. Like you all should be. But I mean, yeah, we know that Wally's not going to die, and a couple things future-wise that I know about this Flash War crossover. Um, Basically, they're going to ask and probably they're going to ask, and from what I understand, they're going to answer the question of who is the better Flash, Wally West or Barry Allen. Your thoughts on that?
oh dear. Well, this question I'm going to answer simply saying that both of them are good Flashes. The problem is, I was always a fan of Barry Allen back in the day. To see him die in Crisis on Infinite Earths #8 was kind of it was a heart stopper, let's say that. And then Wally West took over as the Flash for a while until Jeff Johns said, "Okay, let's bring Barry Allen back." So he did, which then got me on board with Flash again. It's just I don't know, they're both good in their own way. It's just I can't choose one of them, but I do like Barry Allen, honestly. What's your favorite Flash, Mike?
Yeah. So my favorite Flash 2 has to be Barry Allen, which is weird because like we're the age of everybody who loves Wally West is the Flash because the Justice League cartoon and all that kind of stuff. We're the age group that loves Wally West as the Flash. But I'm definitely a Barry Allen guy. Growing up as a kid, I was not a DC guy. I was a Marvel guy. Spider-Man was my favorite superhero of all time, and some stuff happened with Spider-Man, and I kind of switched from Marvel to DC, and I fell in love with the character of Superman. And as soon as that happened, I couldn't stop reading DC stuff. So about when I started reading DC stuff was New 52 era, and so you get Barry Allen as the Flash, and then the TV show happens, and like I was a freshman in high school when Arrow started, and to see Barry Allen have a cameo in the second season of Arrow when I was like a sophomore, I was like, there's no way they're gonna make a Flash TV show, and the next year they did it, and that first season was perfect. So I've always been a Barry Allen guy. I respect Wally West. I think everything they're doing with him right now is awesome. But I'm curious to see how they answer this question. I mean, I'm pretty sure Wally's faster than Barry. Wally figured out more tricks with the Speed Force and his powers and that kind of stuff. Just because Barry wasn't around when comics were written that way. And I'm excited to see how they handle this question because one way or the other, if they give an answer to who the best Flash is, somebody's going to get mad. So I'm curious to see how they're going to handle it. So now, Nick, I think you want to talk about Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps.
All right, so Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. This is rather interesting for this title, which I did not see coming. Basically, on the front cover, you have General Zod fighting Hal Jordan, which since what was it, Action Comics or it's one of the titles. Okay, it was Action. Okay, so anyway, from Action Comics, you have General Zod come back, and then you see Ursa and Lord Zod, his son, show up. So basically, they're going to go to basically a not so developed planet, and they're going to try and rule it, like in a sense. And of course, Hal Jordan flies somewhere over there, and they're going to end up fighting because Hal Jordan stands up to the little guy and all that. So I want to see this fight. This is going to be a really interesting fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome when villains who are typically one character's villains appear in other books. It really gives the sense of this being a truly shared universe. Like, why wouldn't General Zod want to fight the Green Lantern Corps? Like it doesn't make sense that he would only be after. I mean, it makes sense that he's only after Superman because of the whole Kryptonian thing. But like, if a Green Lantern gets in his way, like, why wouldn't he stop him? I mean, there's lots of villains like that where it doesn't make sense why they don't appear in other stuff, especially in this big shared universe. But it's really interesting to see the aftermath of where Zod went after his story in Action Comics. I'm excited to see what happens with this. I mean, I'm excited and I cannot wait. And they better make Jor-El, or not Jor-El, yeah, don't get me started on Jor-El right now. General Zod, his son, I'm really hoping they make him an antagonist in the Super Sons book. So speaking of Super Sons, which partially ties into this Hal Jordan thing, so I guess I'm going to start with Superman. The Superman issue that's previewed in this book, in this previews guide, is the final part of the Super Sons of Tomorrow story, which I'm so excited for. Give me these Super Sons stories that actually have continuity affecting repercussions, and I'm on board. I think it's going to be great. So that's what they talk about in Superman, about the finale for the Super Sons of Tomorrow. Then in Super Sons issue 12, it's going to be the epilogue to this story, and it's teased that like there's a glimpse of this future with this planet that General Zod's son rules. And I think that kind of ties into the whole Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps thing because the Zods are ruling this planet and Hal Jordan interferes. So maybe this is like a future timeline before Hal Jordan interferes, or I'm not quite sure, but I'm excited and I really want this to kind of be the start of General Zod's son being an antagonist for Superboy. I think we get him and Damian their own little rogues gallery. And it should be fun. And Super Sons is like one of my favorite titles out. But I'm curious to see what they do with this whole General Zod thing. And there's definitely a lot of General Zod stories being planned, I think, because of kind of how the return of General Zod in Action Comics, how that ending kind of played out. It was very open ended. Speaking of which, I love the fact they're giving us more Superman, which is awesome because it like shows that DC's finally given Superman this push that he hasn't seen in quite a while, and showing and having his villains appear in different books, and even Superman appearing in his latest Hal Jordan arc is awesome.
Okay, so on to the trade paperbacks of DC. We got they finally put out the Action Comics Oz Effect hardcover deluxe edition in this previews. Basically, like the button, this book comes with a lenticular cover or dust jacket, if you want to call it that. Basically, it collects all the issues of the Oz Effect.
Yeah, we don't even know how this Oz Effect story ends yet. I mean, issue 4 came out today, and I'm sure we'll get to talking about that here in a little bit. But let's move on to some other stuff that were in the previous guide before we get into this week stuff. So I'm going to send it over to Nick and talk about some of the Image previews that came out.
Okay, so for Image, we have Invincible number 144, which is the last issue of this very long run. I haven't kept up with the story. Like I've read the beginning of it, but supposedly the story is called "The End of All Things" or something, and it was like a 12-issue arc, and this issue is supposed to wrap up everything. And also we have Walking Dead number 175, which is basically a new story arc. Basically on the cover you can see 3 soldiers on the cover, and they look like, yep, definitely like stormtroopers because they got the white armor, and which leads me to believe that this is going to get a lot more futuristic looking, even though we're still going to have zombies, which is kind of interesting. But we'll just have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I follow Walking Dead through the trades and compendiums and stuff. But this issue looks really cool, and I like this idea that The Walking Dead is this ever evolving story where it's a story where you can have a first part, a second part, and an end part. And I mean, Robert Kirkman said that he knows how the story ends, and I know that at some point we'll get to the end of The Walking Dead. I don't feel like this is going to be a story. It's not going to be like a Superman title that lasts till the end of time. We are going to have an end to this story, and I don't think the end's anywhere in sight yet, especially with the success of the TV show and the comic. I don't think there's an end for many, many years, but I like seeing this story evolve and actually growing. And that's why, I mean, I haven't followed Invincible either. I've always been meaning to jump in with the trades and everything. But I think that's what's really cool. I mean, we have the end of this story with issue 144. And I'm sure Kirkman's gonna revisit this world and do some other stuff with it at some point. But it's cool to see the end of a story. So now some Marvel stuff.
All right, jumping into Marvel. As you can see on the front cover of the previews is Avengers number 675, which basically starts a 16-part weekly series called No Surrender. This story this story sounds really really interesting. Basically, you have the Avengers and suddenly Earth disappears. Just goes poof. And the all the current Avengers that are in the teams right now, like you have the Avengers team, you have the Uncanny Avengers team, you have the US Avengers and the Occupy Avengers. They're up in space and they're going to try and figure out who took the Earth or who moved it. It's probably going to deal with something cosmic, but basically it's 16 parts, and man, we'll have to see what happens in these 16 parts. At least it's weekly, so we won't forget the story as it comes out every month. The next thing I want to talk about is Guardians of the Galaxy number 150 and 151, which basically it stars the cast from the movies. You have Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Groot, Rocket. But on the cover is an interesting figure that I haven't seen for a very long time. In the center, that I'm led to believe, is Michael Korvac, which spells trouble in a sense. Um, I I want to know what's going to happen to this character because Michael Korvac is just cosmic being. He was seen in the Avengers since the 80s, but we'll have to see what he does with the Guardians, honestly. Um,
Yeah, so Here talking about some Michael Korvac guy. I've literally never heard of him, and then he pulled out a trade to show me who it was. And I will give him. It does look very similar to this cover for Guardians. However, I'm guessing it's Adam Warlock because the story arc is called "The Return of Adam Warlock." I mean, who knows? Nick might be rubbing in my face in a couple months, telling me that I was completely wrong. But so yeah, I mean, it does look very similar to the cover that he's showing me of the Korvac saga, but I'm guessing it's probably Adam Warlock. But real quick, anyway, so now we got to figure it out that it's Adam Warlock. What do you think the repercussions of that are going to be? I mean, do you know when the last time we've seen Adam Warlock? It's definitely come back because he's going to probably be in Infinity War or something. I'm guessing something like that. I'm sure that's why they're bringing this character back. But I mean, apparently we haven't seen him in a while because it says the return. But it makes sense because of this whole new Infinity Stone thing that they're probably going to be doing. So you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, as seen in Marvel Legacy, like we see the Mind Stone show back up in Wolverine's hands of all people. Which, and since this Guardians title, The Return of Adam Warlock, maybe we get to see the Soul Gem again. You know, maybe his mission is to put the Infinity Gauntlet back together. Who knows, honestly.
Yeah, I think that'll be cool. So I'm gonna let you talk about Old Man Hawkeye in a second, but I want to talk about Captain America 697. Craven's gonna try and hunt down Captain America, which has me wondering a few things. A, is this gonna tie into the Venom story, which would be really weird for Captain America and Venom to tie in together. But also, why is Marvel pushing Craven the Hunter? Like 30 some years later, after like the Craven's Last Hunt story, like when Craven was like a big deal, why is Marvel all of a sudden pushing Craven again? Which is awesome because I love Craven. Craven's awesome. And the Venom arc's been crazy with Craven in it, but it's just really weird to me that they're pushing Craven all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I hope he doesn't turn into like a character that just you use over and over and over again. Um, but yeah, it's cool to see Craven come back. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I just have a feeling he's going to be overused.
Yeah, so Old Man Hawkeye, I think it's gonna be really cool. I think seeing this Hawkeye, I think is gonna be really neat. And I guess we're gonna probably get the story of his blindness and that kind of thing. I'm guessing. But I think that the Old Man Logan universe works for telling these other characters' stories and allowing us to see more of the world. So Nick, other Marvel stuff you want to talk about?
There's one more Marvel title that I want to talk about that was featured in this previews guide, which was kind of cool. It's called Rogue and Gambit, which basically puts them two back together since the 90s. Basically, it's a 5-issue limited series that focuses on these two characters tackling or handling a certain problem. Um,
The next Lonely Place of Living issue came out today in Detective Comics 967. It's kind of veering away from where the series started about being an Oz Effect sort of tie-in thing, but it's going in a good direction. I like this future Tim Drake guy. It's future Tim Drake guy. But I also think it was really fun to see Tim Drake get reintroduced back to the Bat family and being alive. I think these are really great emotional scenes. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, basically, Tim Drake shows back up to the Bat family and tells them all that he's alive, and basically tells Batwoman that the other version of him wants to kill her and locks her up in a box. Yeah. Unfortunately, this story, I wish it would focus, like, I wish it would be closer to the Oz effect, but we'll have to see what happens because Tim Drake, the future Tim Drake, goes into the Batcave and reveals another Batman dark secret, which basically it's Batman rebuilding Brother Eye, which is from Infinite Crisis. And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I like you said, I wish it tied more to the Oz Effect thing. I still think this is a really good story. I just wish that it would be done as the next arc. But it's really fun and kind of cool to see the whole Batman Brother Eye thing because like this new 52 Batman sort of kind of didn't really do that, but like it's weird because like we don't actually know what the continuity of the New 52 is. I really hope Superman just comes in. He's just like, no, I've been here before. Let's not do this again. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. But just okay, I'm gonna run down some other titles that came out this week. So obviously there was Action Comics, a Dark Knight's Metal tie-in, reprints of some of the other Dark Knight's Metal tie-ins. We got Flash came out this week, which was a Dark Knight's Metal tie-in. That's going to be a 4-part crossover with Justice League, Hal Jordan, that kind of stuff. Really fun issue. Amazing Spider-Man came out this week. More into the fall of Parker, which is a fun story. We got Nightwing came out, Justice League of America 17. Saga 48. I don't know if how many of you follow Saga. I've read the first couple trades. Really great read. Teen Titans 13 came out. And also apparently today is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Day, which I found out while I was at the shop today. Kind of late to tell all you guys about this, but there's some fun promotional stuff for it. Just found out it was a thing today. Yeah, Nick?
Oh yeah. Also, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think 75 came out today, which is the end of the Trial of Krang story. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but basically, it's a really cool square bound, and I think it's like 60, 80 pages or something.
So also just some stuff looking into the future with some role-playing game stuff. There's going to be a Harley Quinn HeroClix set coming out, and we plan to do a unboxing video for this. We're going to sit down, open up a couple boosters for you guys, let you see what's in there, and then show off some other figures. Nick?
And hopefully, we can get Jessica Cruz as a figure.
Yeah, we better get a Jessica Cruz figure. I need a HeroClix set to come out that is just rebirth pieces. I need John Kent and Crypto. I need John Kent and Damian. I need Jessica Cruz. I need Jessica and Simon Baz. And I really need like some cool Dr. Manhattan Doomsday Clock pieces in the future for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for this set, and hopefully we'll have a pretty cool unboxing video for that and can show off some of the cool figures. Moving on to our picks for the week. Because of the previews week, we have a preview pick of the week. We're going to have our regular comic book pick of the week, and like we're going to be doing for the next couple weeks, we're replacing our trade paperback picks with a Rebirth story arc pick. Or a Rebirth pick this week is going to be a Rebirth story arc, our favorite one. So I'm going to start off with my comic pick of the week. My comic pick had to have been Action 990. It's so good, and seeing John Kent with his grandpa Jor-El is awesome. It's very, very reminiscent of Jeff Johns' Secret Origin, where the Legion of Tomorrow comes and picks up Superboy, and he goes to this future where he doesn't have to hide who he is. And basically what Jor-El is explaining to John is very similar to this. And at the end of the issue, Superboy doesn't want Superman to stop Jor-El, and I think it's awesome. And his motivations are realistic. His reasonings are awesome. I cannot wait for the 5th issue of this, and the covers are amazing. So my Rebirth story arc pick has to be the Superman Reborn. It's pretty controversial with some people, specifically Nick over here, but I loved it. I think it basically sums up what Rebirth is supposed to be. They brought back Mr. Mxyzptlk, Mxyzptlk, Mixie. I'm going to call him Mixie because it makes my life easier and I don't get yelled at. So they bring back Mixie, and he's like the villain of the story. It turns out he was captured by Jor-El, and it's just awesome. I mean, Mixie never fit into the New 52. He was this jokey character that didn't fit into what the New 52 was. So bringing him back solidifies what Rebirth is. It's a back to the roots. It's a back to the hope, the compassion. It doesn't always have to be dark and gritty. And we kind of get a glimpse of post Doomsday Clock with this story. We see New 52 Superman and post Flashpoint Superman combined into one character. Their histories are cemented in a firm timeline, and it's awesome to see that. And kind of a glimpse post Doomsday Clock, and just that. And that's why this is my pick for my favorite Rebirth story arc. which kind of leads into a sidebar thing that I want to talk about quick. Here in the future, we're going to do some pre-Doomsday Clock videos. We're going to do a required reading list for Doomsday Clock. What we think that you need to read to prepare yourself for Doomsday Clock. And probably some other fun Doomsday Clock prep stuff in there. But stay tuned for all of that. My preview pick for the previews guide this week is this awesome Jack Kirby effect sort of t-shirt that has the Omega symbol and Dark Side sitting in his throne. And it's a really awesome t-shirt. It was just introduced to me recently that you could get t-shirts out of this preview guide. So that's why that's my pick. Nick, what are your picks?
All right, so starting with the comic pick of the week, I have to go with Dark Knight's Metal, the Merciless, which is basically Batman as the God of War. This story is a very sad story. It tells how Batman and Wonder Woman were fighting against Ares at the end of the world, and Wonder Woman had to sacrifice herself in order to defeat Ares. And basically, they were like really close. Like they were about to beat him, and Ares killed Wonder Woman. And Batman, all heartbroken, goes for his helm and basically becomes the God of War, basically fueled on the idea of you took Wonder Woman away from me and I'm going to kill you. And basically that's what happens. Batman kills Ares and becomes the new God of War. And basically his longing for Wonder Woman causes him to basically destroy his own world because he can't contain the God of War helmet. It basically destroys the world to the point of it collapses, and the Batman, He Who Laughs, shows up and recruits him to join his team. So I kind of want to see Wonder Woman and New 52 fight this new Ares God of War. Anyway, my Rebirth story arc pick has to be Trinity. The first 6 issues of Trinity, which focuses on Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman coming back together since the New 52 Superman died. The first issue is absolutely awesome because you have Wonder Woman and Batman showing up at Clark Kent's house for dinner, with Wonder Woman dragging a boar behind her, of all things, which is strange. And also, I do like Lois in this because she can stand up to these two powerful beings and basically get them all to sit around the table.
Batman's not powerful at all.
Well, yeah. All right, I second that, but you get the general idea. Anyway, moving on to my preview pick. I found this statue in the previews, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Basically, think of an assassin, but he's like wearing complete gray and black clothes and stuff, and he's got like this mini sai in his hand, and his mask kind of looks like Batman a little bit with the ears and stuff, but it's not really that. It kind of gave me that like the steampunk and kind of the assassin look. But that's my pick of the.
All right. I mean, this was a little bit slower of a week for comics, but we got that previews guide, which is pretty heavy. We got some cool stuff planned. I mean, with this unboxing and some Rebirth special stuff that we've got planned before Doomsday Clock. But we'll see you back next week. Keep on reading comics.